I think it's just at that moment in time, the connection with nature and with the wave, like it's kind of like you meet it and you go on a little journey together. I love the synchronicity of that.
There's the flow of surfing and there's the motion, and so it is very addictive.
It's got the natural beauty, it's got a bit of an adrenaline rush, and it's physically challenging as well, so it's quite a total sensory experience.
Surfing good waves at home and having that connection to the place you live in, and the scenery is like so spectacular. Like it'll never really come close to just, you know, a warm surf and an average beach.
Sunny skies, crisp warm beaches, bright blue waters. To many, this is what symbolizes surfing. That stereotype couldn't be farther from the truth for the surfers of County Clare in Western Ireland.
It's rocky and it's cold and it's misty, and that's what makes it very different in Ireland.
Surf from the west coast of Ireland, it's not going to be warm water 6 to 8 foot offshore and tubing every day, that's for sure.
Winter is the primary season for surfing in the area. The weather produces heavy amounts of wind and rain during these months, with water temperatures reaching as low as 32 to 45 degrees Fahrenheit.
Ireland's got its own little unique little surfer species going on where they've evolved a little bit differently to the sunshine surfer.
Your body's constantly having to stay warm.
It's almost like not a natural thing to just go and spend the day in the sea here.
But when the conditions align just so, they produce some of the top waves in the world, making it one of the fastest growing surfing scenes globally. This wasn't always the case though. There was a time when surfing was a foreign subject, even to those who called Ireland home. Surfing has been around for the last 2.5 centuries, but the sport didn't find its way to Ireland until 1949. Using a self-constructed board, 14-year-old Joe Roddy became the first individual to surf in Ireland. The sport would be popularized by Kevin Cavey in 1966. Inspired by an article in Reader's Digest, Cavey started the Bray Island Surf Club. A year later, he would lead a surfing safari on the western coast of Ireland. The first Irish National Surfing Championship was held in 1967. As hype grew, Ireland would host the European Surfing Championships in 1972. Even with this buzz, the sport remained an underground lifestyle through the 80s and early 90s.
It wasn't a regular pastime that everybody partaked in, it was very exclusive. It's like a secret, nobody else knew that you had this surfing thing, and you had these fantastic waves that were completely uncrowded. They were all yours. You could rock up any day of the week, and if the waves were good, you'd be surfing on, you know, if during the weekend there might be a few people around, but if it was during the week, a weekday, there'd be nobody. You'd have the whole place to yourself. You could have a pick of any of the waves and have them all to yourself.
Many credit the late 90s rapid economic growth in Ireland, known as the Celtic Tiger, for making surfing cheaper, more accessible, and thusly more popular.
There was also a population bubble where there was lots of people just finished college or that kind of age group, and at the same time the wetsuits were so good, the wetsuits became very cheap, so there was this huge accessibility to surfing. And along with that, surfing was so popular in the press, like in LA and Hollywood and all that stuff.
Surfing shops and schools began developing along the coast. John McCarthy, a European surfing bronze medalist, opened the first surfing school in Lahinch in 2002.
So it quite quickly got very busy. So by 2005, it was the surf school was hiring a few people, and it was a proper business.
Over this time period, the Ireland waves have attracted the attention of surfers all over the world who will travel and even live in the areas that have become iconic for their waves. Arguably, the most famous in Western Ireland happens to be one of the newest discoveries, Aileen's. The Aileen's wave only occurs a few times a year, but can reach heights of up to 50 feet. Ironically, it's located under the cliffs of Moher, one of Ireland's most popular tourist destinations.
It's the last place in the world we would have expected to go surfing, down a 700-800 foot cliff. Most people go up there and just look over the edge, and that's enough of a thrill for them. Can you imagine hiking down the cliffs and then trying to tackle some of the biggest, most powerful waves in the world?
Aileen's was discovered in 2006 by acclaimed surfing photographer Mickey Smith, who was quick to tell his friend John McCarthy of his findings.
We all went down there together, so there was this epic day where we got to go and see the wave and check it out for the first time. The wave itself is one of the most terrifying waves in the world that you'll see. So when you go out and you see a wave like that, your initial feeling is just absolute fear, and you're scared for your life. It took quite a while before we could ride it successfully.
John McCarthy would become the first surfer to ever ride the Aliens wave and ignite a worldwide surfing adoration for Ireland's newest attraction.
It's not just about the wave, it's about the climb down the cliff, and it's about the amazingness of the cliffs.
Predicting massive waves, or swells, such as Aliens, is no easy task. Unstable weather makes the conditions difficult to forecast.
They could be forecasting epic surf 5 stars, whatever it is, for a week in advance, but the closer it gets, you see it all changing. It goes from 5 stars to 4 stars to 3 stars to absolute rubbish. Surfing on the west coast, the conditions are very, very fickle, so sometimes you can wait a long, long time before you get optimum conditions.
Even with this uncertainty, many surfers on the West Coast have committed to the lifestyle and understand the urgency to be ready at a moment's notice.
When there's swell and it's wintertime and there's good waves, it dictates my whole life. There's a lot of preparation because the weather's extreme, the days are short, and you kind of got to capitalise on those days. You're starting to get boards ready, you're making yourself ready, and you're making sure you kind of got all your gear and figuring out where you're going to go, and then you got everything you're eating, you're going to bed early, you're getting up early.
The challenges don't stop once out on the water. Timing, instinctiveness, and patience all play their part in catching the best wave at the precise moment.
It's a chess game, and normally it can be quite frustrating and challenging and exerting.
My main job or profession, or whatever way you want to look at it, what I do in the water is actually just sit and wait. It's kind of mentally mind-numbing to just let so many good waves go by, but you're waiting for a specific, there's there's 8 out of 10 waves again and again and again, but you're waiting for a 10 out of 10 wave. I've sat in the water for 2 hours and paddled in and never even caught a wave, and it's been a really good day, and people are like, why aren't you catching a wave? It's just sometimes they just don't come.
The difficulty of embracing these ideals is only multiplied when you factor in the often brutal climate.
You've got howling winds and driving rain and that kind of stuff. The wind chill, it's all about the wind chill, and the air here is so damp. It gets a lot of humidity in the air, so if you got driving wind with moisture in the air, that moisture just gets into your skin and gets under your bones. Sitting around at the top of a cliff or just sitting in the water for a couple hours and you're not doing much, that wind really just attacks the body a lot, it really takes it out of you. Mental imagery is huge. You're constantly trying to imagine what you want to do when that one wave does arrive, and then when it does, you really want to just capitalise on it and do it as best you can.
When it all clicks together, you can do it.
That moment where everything's in the zone, or whatever you want to call it, when everything just comes together and time slows down and it all just clicks, and it's effortless. When it works, it's totally effortless.
What lies in store for the Irish surfing culture remains to be seen, but as the sport and lifestyle continue to gain recognition globally and locally, it's hard to see the direction going anywhere but up. Whatever may come, the surfers of Western Ireland will be along for the ride.